Hey everyone, Teo here. This is my review for the Xiaomi Pad Mini from the artist's perspective. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the drawing experience you can expect with this tablet together with the Xiaomi Focus Pen. First of all, disclaimer, this is a review unit provided by Xiaomi. So big thanks to them for providing this unit before the launch day. At the time of review, I do not have the price of this tablet yet, so you guys will have to find out the price for yourself in a few days' time. And I have been using this tablet for about 2 weeks now, and bottom line up front, this tablet has really good hardware. The processor is the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus. There is 12 gigs of RAM for this review unit and 512 gigs of internal storage. The overall responsiveness is really good. This tablet is very responsive, and together with the 165 Hz, everything just looks and feels so smooth. And this can be used for gaming as well. The processor is powerful enough. There is a lot of RAM for multitasking, for creating many layers. The display is bright, vibrant, and sharp. Brightness is up to 700 nits. The build quality is really good. I'm actually not sure whether the case is included at the time of review, but this is a good case. This tablet does not have a micro SD card slot, and there is no support for cellular. So on this side, you can attach the Xiaomi Focus Pen for charging and for pairing. The audio quality from the two speakers is quite good. The speaker is loud, clear, and there is good stereo effect. There are two USB-C ports, which is quite convenient. So this one here supports USB 3.2 transfer speed, and this can output video. So when you are gaming, you can actually connect the cable here instead of here, so that you can hold the tablet properly when gaming. For drawing purposes, 8.8 inch is kind of small, but the selling point is this is an extremely portable tablet. So for this tablet, you can hold it easily with one hand, or with this case, you can actually use the hand strap and hold it like this. So this allows you to hold the tablet very comfortably, and I like to sketch on the train while I'm commuting to work. So with this tablet, I can actually pull this out from my bag easily and just start sketching. The user experience is so much better compared to drawing on my phone or even drawing on a larger 11-inch tablet, because the 11-inch tablet is a bit more unwieldy compared to this tablet, where I can hold this easily in one hand. The Xiaomi Focus Pen is sold separately, and this pen supports tilt, palm rejection, and slightly over 4000 levels of pressure sensitivity. Tilt doesn't work well, but thankfully palm rejection actually works quite well. The drawing experience unfortunately is not ideal though, because there are some issues with pen accuracy. Initial activation force is actually quite good. I can draw thin lines easily just by using minimal pressure. The pen is now just glancing on the glass surface. It's just that there is this diagonal line wobble, and with some apps the wobble may be more obvious. But this is not the deal breaker. This is actually not too bad. Let me show you the tapered strokes. This does not taper as smoothly, as sharply as I like. If you want tapered strokes to look good, you have to draw like really fast. And how the tapered strokes will look will also depend on which app you use. So some apps will have strokes that look like this, tapered strokes that actually look like this, which obviously is unnatural. Drawing apps that work well on such a small tablet would be drawing apps with minimal UI elements. So with MediaTek Paint, you can see the toolbar taking a lot of space, and here as well. And if you have the palettes by the side, it's going to take up even more space. Notice the tablet is dimming. Yeah, that's because you should not cover the camera here, as there is auto brightness, which works quite well, by the way. So try to use minimal drawing apps with minimal UI elements, such as concepts. Infinity Painter has some issues with line quality, but the UI with Infinity Painter is minimal, and you can use Clip Studio Paint as well with the tablet mode. My favorite app for drawing on this tablet would be Concepts. Now, in terms of usability, when it comes to drawing on such a small tablet, there are several things you have to take note of. If I'm using the tablet outdoors for sketching, I will hold it like this, and the tablet is handheld. My other hand is also moving, so there are two moving parts. And because the display is so smooth, the pen tip glides on the glass so smoothly, all that makes it kind of difficult to draw with the pen, because it's difficult to control the smooth pen on the glass surface. So the difficulty of drawing on this tablet is actually not from the diagonal line wobble or the tapered stroke. It's actually from how smooth the pen tip is on the glass surface, and also how there are moving parts. Of course, you can put the tablet on the table and just push this back. If you put the tablet on the table with support, then yes, you can get a more stable surface to draw on. But also note that this tablet is small, so at least for me, when I'm drawing on such a small tablet, I will try to prevent my hand from resting on the tablet so that I get more space for drawing. I don't think the drawing experience is ideal for all those reasons, but if you are thinking of writing on this tablet, writing works well. For casual sketching, it certainly works fine. I don't have any issues with casual sketching. So those are the main pros and cons. The hardware is really good. The drawing experience is not ideal for the reasons mentioned. Handwriting and note-taking experience is alright, it's good enough. And now on to the full review. Let's take a look at the items included with the purchase. Oh, before I start, I have a favor to ask from you. If you have the intention to buy this tablet after watching the review, consider making your purchase through the affiliate links that I have in the video description below to support my YouTube channel. I believe Shopee Singapore should be selling the tablet soon, and you may be able to find some pretty good deals on Shopee. Xiaomi sent me several items. There is the Xiaomi Focus Pen, the tablet, and the Xiaomi Pad Mini cover or case. Inside the box for the tablet, you will find a 67-watt charger with a USB-A port. This is a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, warranty card, quick start guide, and the tablet. This is the tablet case. They call this the cover, and this is quite well designed. The interior has this matte textured surface. The exterior has PU leather surface. And there is some flex to the case because this is made with plastic. This leather-like texture feels really nice. And there is a strap, which is quite convenient. So let's just place the tablet in the case. And this obviously will fit perfectly. There are cutouts for the USB-C port on this side and on this side, and also cutouts for the speakers. This area will let you attach the Xiaomi Focus Pen magnetically for charging and Bluetooth pairing, and the magnets are quite strong. So on the back, there are cutouts for the camera and the flash. I'm not sure what this hole is. This strap can be pulled. You can pull this all the way to lock it like this. So now you can place your hand behind the tablet like this, and you can hold the tablet with one hand like this. Since I'm right-handed, I'll hold it like this. And I find this to be very useful because when you are reading or writing, you don't have to grip the tablet like this, which you can do so easily. It's actually more comfortable to hold the tablet like this. The strap also allows you to prop up the tablet this way to use the case as a stand. The frame of the case goes above the display and you can see the metal frame of the tablet, so there is space allowance for a screen protector. The cutouts for the USB-C ports do not have the connecting bridge above. I noticed that when I swipe like this to go back, my finger doesn't hit the frame of the case, and same when I swipe like this when holding the tablet horizontally, because there is no plastic frame here for the cutouts. Inside the box for the pen, there is the warranty card, quick start guide, the pen, and one replacement pen tip. So this is the Xiaomi Focus pen, which is also used by some other Xiaomi tablets, and this is a well-made pen. Build quality is solid. I love the matte textured surface. This is very comfortable to hold. The weight is not too heavy, but not too light. This pen supports tilt, pressure sensitivity, and palm rejection, and I will show you the pen performance later during the drawing and note-taking tests. There are 3 buttons by the side, and they are shortcuts for opening the Notes app, screenshot, and the virtual laser pointer. This pen tip is matte textured, but it's still quite smooth on the glass surface, and pen tip replacements can be found quite easily online. This pen has no eraser at the back, and you can see this design is almost cylindrical except for this flat side here, which you can attach to the side of the tablet. I am actually not sure what's the battery life for the pen, but you don't have to worry about the battery life because when you keep the pen by the side of the tablet all the time, the pen will always be charged and ready to be used. Let's look at the design of the Xiaomi Pad Mini, which looks beautiful. So this is a clean and simple design. There are rounded corners for the body and LCD. The bezels are quite thin, uniform on the 4 sides. There is a portrait camera here with auto brightness, which works quite well. And there is face unlock, which also works quite well. The back is matte textured, and this is metal. That's the Xiaomi logo. There is one 30 megapixel f2.2 camera with a flash. At the top of the tablet, you can find one speaker, and there is another speaker on the other side, and the audio quality is quite good. The speakers are loud, clear, and has good stereo effect. Bass is lacking, but that's not surprising. This power button does not have a fingerprint scanner. On this side, there is the charging area for the pen, the volume control, and there is no micro SD card or SIM card slot, so this model is Wi-Fi only. One interesting thing about this tablet is there are 2 USB-C ports. So this is useful because when you are gaming, you can hold the tablet this way and charge the tablet here instead of charging the tablet here, because if the cable is here, it prevents you from holding the tablet properly. And when you are gaming, this will prevent the battery from depleting too quickly. And by the way, when you're holding the tablet this way, the speakers are at the top, so your hand will not block the audio. This USB-C port has USB 3.2 transfer speed, and this one here only has USB 2 transfer speed. Now the USB-C ports can support up to 67 watt charging with the included Xiaomi charger, but if you connect the tablet to a third-party GA and charger, then the charging speed is only up to 30 watt, which is still quite fast. And the faster USB-C port can also output video. So this is a really well-made tablet that looks and feels premium. The weight is 326 grams, so this is very lightweight, compact and portable, and even with the case, it's not heavy, so this is very easy to bring around in your bag. One other feature that makes this tablet feel premium is the haptic feedback feels amazing. So when typing, not only can you hear, you can also feel the tablet vibrate subtly, so that feels great. Let's talk about the display. So this is an 8.8-inch IPS LCD. The resolution is 3008 by 1880. The aspect ratio is 16 by 10. And the refresh rate is up to 165 Hz. So all the animation that you see for pan zoom and rotate, scrolling, all that will be really smooth. And together with the processor, the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus, and the high refresh rate, it makes this tablet look and feel really responsive. Pixelation is not noticeable even if I look really close. The display is laminated, so when drawing or writing, there is almost no gap between the line and the pen tip. There is high brightness mode up to 700 nits, so this display is more than bright enough for use in a bright room environment or any other place as long as you're under shelter. This is not bright enough for use under direct sunlight because the brightness is not high enough, and also the display is just too reflective. Whether you want to get a matte screen protector for this is personal preference, and if you want to search for screen protectors, you can also search for Redmi K Pad screen protectors because these two tablets have the same display size. This is a bright, vibrant and sharp display. Not having OLED here is not a downside. Anyway, this is a high quality LCD. This tablet size is good for reading because you can hold the tablet easily in one hand, and it's not too heavy, so you can hold the tablet for long periods of time for reading. The text looks big enough for me, but you can increase the text even bigger using the OS settings. Download speed is really fast. Let's take a look at some comics. Now, for reading comics, it may not be ideal because some of the comics are actually designed for books that are big. So for the big books that are scaled down into this 8.8-inch display, the text will be quite small. Now, if you are reading Japanese comics, well, the text is much bigger. And this is great for reading manga because Japanese comics or Chinese, some of the Chinese or Taiwanese comics, the comic books are actually smaller, so this is almost the same size as the physical comic book. The reading experience on this tablet is really good. And you can set one of the shortcuts here in the control panel for reading mode to make the display even easier on your eyes. Let's talk about performance. So this tablet has 12 gigs of RAM with 6 gigs of virtual RAM shared from the storage. The CPU is the MediaTek Dimensity 9400, which is an 8-core processor. Alright, let's see how much time it takes to load an app. This game is Genshin Impact. If you're loading Google apps or social media apps such as Facebook, Instagram, or web browsers, or YouTube, those apps will load instantly. Now this game is huge, so this will take more time to load. But even so, I find that this game can load actually really fast. So with this tablet, you can expect very fast, smooth, lag-free performance, even if you have many apps in memory. Yeah, this is definitely loading much faster compared to other Android tablets that I have tested. Okay, let's go into the settings and have a look at the default graphics settings. This is set to high out of the 5 settings, so this is the second highest, which is good. Because with most other Android tablets that I've tested, the graphics settings is usually either medium or low. Even for my Samsung Tab S9 Ultra, the graphics settings is actually set to low, the second lowest of the 5. Okay, let me just zoom in and have a look. Okay, the visuals are sharp, there is no pixelation, and the visual quality, the color quality is good. There is good contrast. So with good visuals and good audio, you can expect wonderful gaming experience from this tablet, and also wonderful video watching experience. This review unit that I have has 12 gigs of RAM, so you can have many apps in memory. Let me open up Google Play Store again. So this actually reloads the Play Store, but as you can see, the reload is actually pretty fast, and this also reloads this drawing app Concepts. Yeah, so I guess some of the older apps may not retain in memory, but even if the apps are not retained in memory, you can just open the app again and those apps will reload really quickly. Let's talk about the OS. So this tablet is running on Xiaomi HyperOS version 2.0.202, running on top of Android 15, and there is official support for Google Play Store. And out of the box, I did not see any bloatware installed, so that is great. There are many features, but if you need even more features, you can always go to Google Play Store to install whatever app you need to get those features. Or you can install your own launcher, but the default launcher actually looks to me pretty good. I actually want to double tap to lock the display, but I cannot. So let me search for that setting. You can write into text boxes with the pen, but if you don't want this setting, you can actually disable it. So this could be it. So it says here I can double tap lock screen to sleep, but I want to double tap the home screen to sleep. So this feature does not exist on the Xiaomi OS. Oh, another thing about this OS is the default file manager does not have integration with Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and Dropbox. For multitasking, you can open an app and tap here on the three dots and move the window to the left or to the right for split screen mode, and open another app like this. Or you can swipe up here and maybe tap here, tap and hold, and you can also split the screen or move this window into a floating window. Other software features include tapping the little bar here to search, and you can draw an area just to do a search for image. And with this tablet, you can swipe up from either corners to call up Gemini, and I have not figured out how to disable this shortcut yet. Alright, time for the line test, and the app that I'm using is MediBang Paint. So let's look at the latency performance first. As I draw this long sweeping line, you can see a line trying to catch up with the pen tip, and there is actually more latency with this app, MediBang Paint, but this is almost the usual amount of latency with most drawing apps. And this app is Concepts. Concepts has better latency performance, so the gap as the line is trying to catch up with the pen tip is much smaller. Anyway, latency is not really an issue when drawing. I'm going to draw several slow diagonal lines with minimal pressure, and the initial activation force is very low, so I can draw thin lines easily, even with a thick brush selected. I can see some diagonal line wobble or jitter. Let's see how the lines taper. You can see that for some of the lines the taper is quite abrupt. Some of the lines they taper quite smoothly and sharply, so there is some inconsistency with the performance here. So whenever there are some inconsistencies, I will try to test with other drawing apps as well. And this app is Infinite Painter, so I want to test the tapered strokes as well. You can see some of the strokes there, they have this very abrupt end. It's rounded, it's not sharp, so the taper does not look natural here as well. This is Clip Studio Paint. Okay, with Clip Studio Paint, the tapered strokes actually look much better. So this is what I'm looking for, sharp and smooth. Yeah, this is a bit better, but now you can see it's abrupt. Yeah, let me zoom out. So if I zoom out to draw, you can see the strokes are tapered, but if I zoom in to draw, the tapered strokes, they have this abrupt end. So the app that you use will affect the line art, and also the zoom will also affect the line art. I'm back to MIDI so let's take a look at the transition from thin to thick and back to thin. This is the true pressure sensitivity test because there are many pens that cannot draw thin lines after drawing the thick lines. And here you can see some obvious diagonal line wobble. Earlier the lines, they are still quite straight, except for the lines here. But here for the curvy line, okay, I thought the app crashed. Here you can see there is noticeable diagonal line wobble. The line transition from thin to thick is smooth, and back to thin it's also smooth, and I can draw thin lines easily after drawing thick lines. So this pen actually has good pressure performance, but there are issues with the tapered strokes. Let's see if I can maintain consistent line width by maintaining consistent pressure. You can see the diagonal line wobble again, but at least there is no pressure variance. So even though there is diagonal line wobble, the line width is still consistent throughout. So this is okay, except for the diagonal line wobble. No issues with drawing dots. Let's look at tilt sensitivity, which unfortunately does not work consistently. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And now let's talk about the drawing experience. So this is a small display. It's a mini display, and the size of this display is almost the same size as this sketchbook, this A5 size sketchbook that I have. I would say the display is just slightly smaller. So for a display of this size, the apps that work best would be apps with minimal UI elements. So if there are many tools on the display, palettes on the display, the drawing area that's left over will be much smaller. So for a small tablet like this, I actually prefer to use apps with minimal UI. For example, Concepts is my main drawing app. So with this app, the tool wheel is here, the layers palette is here, and I can disable the layers palette to get more space for drawing. And also with this tablet, I find that if I use this tablet outdoors, I will usually be holding the tablet this way. Actually, there's a strap, so I'm usually holding the tablet this way or this way for drawing. And my other hand usually does not rest on the tablet, because if it rests on the tablet, then it's going to cover a good portion of the display, so I don't have much space to draw. So sometimes I would just draw with my hand floating above the display, and the tablet will be held like this, so the tablet will be moving and the other hand is moving, so it can be a bit difficult to control the pen when both hands are moving. It's going to take some time to get used to drawing on such a small display. The selling point with this tablet is it's really portable. So this is a tablet you can bring around very easily, and you can pull out this tablet from your bag very quickly just to create a quick sketch. So that is actually the main selling point of this tablet. It's very portable. You can buy a matte screen protector just to get a more textured tactile drawing experience, but that will affect image quality. Now for this tablet, the glass is actually quite smooth, so this pen glides around a bit too easily. I wouldn't say it's slippery, but it's close to slippery. So apps that work best would be apps with minimal UI. So whenever I use MIDI Paint, I will have to disable the layers. Okay, so let's draw the head of this guy. Notice as I draw, there is the diagonal line wobble, and I have the correction or smoothness set to 5. Let me just reduce that to 0 to let you see what will happen without any smoothness. So yeah, so as I draw this line, you can see it's kind of wobbly. So if I want a smooth line, there are two ways. I can either draw faster like this or increase the smoothness. If you increase the smoothness, the lines may look smoother, but there will be more, what's that, latency. You can see that even when I increase the smoothness now, there is still the wobble or the jitter. Okay, now it looks better because now I'm drawing much faster. The drawing experience with this tablet is actually, it's not ideal. It's not ideal because of how difficult it is to control the pen on the display. So here I'm trying to draw thin lines, and yeah, no issues with that. Let's draw the eye here, maybe some eyebrows here. This would be the head. Okay, thick lines, thin, thin, thick. Oops, you can see the wobble there. Yep, so if I'm sketching quickly, it's fine, but if I'm sketching a bit too slowly, the wobble will appear. Let's draw some hatching lines here. Okay, hatching lines actually look fine. The glass is so smooth that it is very difficult to control the pen. So that is the main thing that actually affects drawing experience. It's not the pressure. It's not even the diagonal line wobble. It's just how smooth the glass is that affects how you control the pen. Some drawing apps will work better on this tablet compared to other drawing apps, which is why it's good to test more drawing apps. When testing tablets, just find an app that works best for the tablet. Yeah, so I can get some tapered strokes going on. You can see the tapered stroke here, but for some of the lines, there is the abrupt end. Yeah, so if I really want the tapered strokes, I have to figure out how to draw. So for this app, I have to do a quick stroke. If my line is too slow, the stroke will not be tapered and it's going to look really weird. Okay, can you hear the tapping sound of the display, of the pen on the display? Oops. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is actually the cursor on the display. Now, whether you can disable the cursor will depend on which drawing app you use. I like to see the cursor because with certain apps you can actually see the brush, the shape of the brush, to get a sense of how big the brush is before you apply the line. Okay, let's zoom out and have a look. Now the zoom in, out, pan, zoom, rotate, all that is really smooth. Yeah, you can expect very smooth, lag-free performance when drawing. So this was actually quite challenging to sketch, mostly because of how smooth the pen tip is on the glass surface. The diagonal line wobble will obviously affect accuracy, so that is something you have to know. So if you have to draw something very precise, such as straight lines, buildings, furniture, cars, background, well, all that will be affected by diagonal line wobble. So Mediabank Paint is actually not ideal for use on a small tablet. So let me just save this and test another app, Concepts. So this is saving to the cloud. It's not saving to internal storage, which is to say that if I use another Android tablet, I can install the app and just open the same file from the cloud. And I don't have to worry about backup because the file is on the cloud. Let's draw a face again. So Concepts actually works quite well with this tablet. See how I taper the line and I can get this sharp taper, which is nice. And I can have this thin, thick and thin. So let me just draw some diagonal lines here. You know what? Let me try and place my hand on the display. There is still the diagonal line wobble. Oops. This actually looks okay. This app is actually quite forgiving. Oops, you can see the diagonal line wobble. Yeah, I have to hold the pen at certain angles to make it easier to draw. This line is straight. It's a diagonal line, but it's straight. I can have thin, thick, thin, 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 thick. Okay, this line is unnatural. Let me delete that. So this app concept actually works really well on this tablet. As I am drawing, my fingers keep hitting the side buttons, so that's quite irritating. And if there are any shortcuts that were activated with the side buttons, it's really irritating. Notice sometimes when I place my palm on the display, this pop-up will appear. That's because I have set the finger action to select, or I can set the finger action to pen canvas. So if I set the finger action to select, if I draw something wrong, I can use this to select and delete and redraw again. It can be quite convenient. And if palm rejection does not work well, you can actually set the finger action to something else or disable the finger action. If I rest my palm on the display while drawing, my hand actually just blocks half of the display, so there isn't much space left for drawing. Yeah, that is the limitation with drawing on such a small display. Okay, see the thick line and the thin line. Okay, oops, accidentally selected. So Concepts is actually my main sketching app. I think it works really well here with this pen. I had to disable, what's that? Tilt. I have it enabled here. So if I actually tilt the pen, yeah, you see, tilt doesn't happen, so it's not that bad. I don't have to disable tilt. But for some tablets where tilt would activate like randomly, I have to disable tilt. Okay, so this is just a very like quick sketch just to show you the line quality. Let's have a few diagonal lines again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, diagonal lines actually look okay here. All right, let's color. Let's set the face to a lighter color. This app is so much easier to use compared to Medibank Paint on a small tablet because of the minimal UI. So I guess this looks okay. I may touch up this later, but it looks fine now. Okay, let's take a look at this other sketch that I have. Let's disable the colors. Yeah, I can have thin lines, thick lines, tapered stroke here. Notice here, these two lines are actually separate, so I didn't pay too much attention, so it's a bit difficult for me to join the lines seamlessly here. Yeah, but otherwise I can get thin and thick lines. Some of the lines are a bit, how should I say, sketchy. Yeah. So this can actually help disguise the diagonal line wobble. See the thin here, thick here. Because the pressure actually works quite well, you can draw very expressive lines with thin and thick lines. Let's talk a bit about the writing performance. By the way, I will make another video to talk more about the handwriting and note-taking experience. Right now, I just want to show you this. Yeah, so writing experience is actually quite good. It's able to capture my handwriting style quite accurately. No issues with latency when writing. Battery capacity of this tablet is 7,500 milliamp hour, and based on what I have seen so far over the past 2 weeks, the battery life is around 12 hours with auto brightness, so the battery life for this tablet is pretty good. Alright, to conclude, the hardware for this tablet is fantastic in my opinion. This is a well-made tablet, it's beautiful, it looks good, works well, and feels premium. The pen performance is not ideal for drawing because of the diagonal line wobble and how the lines taper with certain drawing apps, and also how smooth the pen tip is on the glass surface. So all those factors make it kind of difficult to get the pen accuracy that I want. But for casual sketching, it can be used for casual sketching, no problem. It's just that if you need to draw more accurately, then I don't think the pen performance is going to let you draw more accurately. But for note-taking, it works fine. So I hope this review is useful. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.